So now I have the distinct pleasure of introducing somebody who doesn't need to be introduced, and that's John Foraker. I know he's known to pretty much everybody here. He spent more than 3 decades in the natural and organic industry, running businesses with a keen focus on sustainability and social responsibility. I first met John back when he was CEO of Annie's, and we were developing the regenerative agriculture standards, their in-house regenerative agriculture standards. I've always looked up to him for his incredible business acumen, his kind heart, and his compelling leadership style. I know many of you feel the same. Today, John is co-founder and CEO of Once Upon a Farm. And in this Regenerative Slam, he's going to share how this savvy brand is positioning and telling their farm to family story to kids and families across the country.
Hi, everyone. I'm really excited to be here today. This is a really important topic. Telling stories is such an important way to connect with the audiences that are important to your business, whether it's consumers or retailers or investors. And so I'm looking forward to talking to you a little bit about Once Upon a Farm and how we've been positioning and telling our story as we've built this business. So let's get right after it. So Once Upon a Farm is a fun story. It begins with our founding story. And the entrepreneurs on the right there that many of you probably know, Ari Raz and Cassandra Curtis, started this company in late 2015. And they wanted to do something really different and disruptive in the baby food space and create basically a fresh baby food brand. Cassandra had developed these products to solve a problem of her own, which is a classic entrepreneur founding story, as she had, was a very busy person and had young kids and wasn't satisfied with the choices that were out there in a grocery store for her to feed her babies. So she started making her own food and thought about figuring out ways that they could do it and offer it broadly in retail stores. And she connected with Ari, who was thinking about doing the same thing, and they started the company. So I became an investor not that long after that. I had heard of Once Upon a Farm through Greg Fleischman, a friend of mine, in the space for a long time, and I'd been looking to invest in the fresh baby space because it was interesting to me that you could find fresh pet food in almost 18,000 grocery stores in the United States, but you couldn't find fresh baby food. And with all the work that I'd done at Annie's through my career and the consumer insights and understanding what was there, it just felt like a huge white space. So in 2017, I got a phone call from Ari, and he said that Jen Garner's manager had reached out to him. She'd been interested in doing something in the baby food space for a long time, or I should say in the food space for a long time. This brand was intriguing to her. She saw as an investor and an advisor, and she wanted to talk about why I was interested in this business. At the time, I was running Annie's, which was a division inside General Mills, and I was running their national organic businesses, most of them as well. And I had the world's greatest job, and I wasn't looking to leave or do anything, but Jen and I got together and we talked about the issues that she'd understood and developed in her work with Save the Children, and coming from a family that had roots in rural poverty, and understanding that she really and I really connected, and we said, let's do something together. And we decided to do this, and Ari and Cassandra welcomed us in, and it's been a really fun journey. We've been on it now for a little over 3 years. And what we're doing at Once Upon a Farm is really trying to bring something new to the kid nutrition space. We start, you can see, by really wrapping the mission and vision and purpose of this company into really cute and hopefully adorable little visuals that allow us to tell the story to our consumers about the things that matter to us, like wholesome goodness and thoughtful sourcing, and bringing that all together in a company that people want to vote for and support, a company with heart that's developed really important relationships with companies like Save the Children, or organizations like Save the Children. And we were the first company that decided to do fresh baby food under the Women, Infant, Children Nutrition Program in the United States. And importantly, also just a modern brand for modern moms and dads that's really meeting their needs in a way that's compelling to them. So part of storytelling is taking really complicated things and simplifying them so that you can connect intellectually and emotionally with people and tell a story in a real quick way. This is how we talk about how we make our products. We pick fresh ingredients, or flash frozen IQF fresh ingredients. We blend them all together at 40 degrees. And then we cold press them together using high pressure pascalization, HPP. And what that does is it basically beats down all of the things that could grow in food and cause it to go bad at shelf, and gives us a little bit of shelf life, but without increasing the temperature over 40 degrees. And we really have used that technology, which was pioneered by companies like Suja and others in the space, to develop a really compelling product offering that includes fruit and veggie blends and dairy-free smoothies and products that are really designed for healthy kids' growth. So thinking about each formula, Cassandra does thoughtfully. How do I make sure that there's the right ingredients in here to support brain health and development, to support healthy fats, to provide the right blends, and no added sugar. And so this is the way that we talk about how we make our products, which is an important part of our story. Then there's what are we talking about? If you look at the consumer that we call Jessica and Jack, like our kind of model consumers. And if you look over the right of the screen, you can see the reality of the kid food space today. Tons of products with a lot of added sugar or high sugar content, lacking nutrition, and really lots of dairy-only options, and nothing inherently wrong about dairy, but there's a lot of consumers that are looking for dairy-free. And what we're doing on the left-hand side of the page is really bringing all of these benefits that these moms and dads are seeking: organic, no added sugar, added fruits and veggies, or added veggies, and dairy-free options. And we're bringing it together in a really important way where we're hitting that sweet spot where Jack loves it and wants to eat a lot of it and often, and mom feels great about giving it to him. And that's really the sweet spot that Annie's developed over time, and why it turned into a really beloved brand that meets a lot of consumers' needs. So when you think about telling stories, let's talk first about telling stories to the brand story to consumers. Here's how we're reaching out and resonating with Jessica. On the upper left-hand side of this page, we're doing things like developing content that we're delivering over the top streaming on networks, places like YouTube. We're doing targeted cable. We obviously have a really strong opportunity to do influencer and ambassador storytelling. That's really important because it's authentic communication that consumers love and trust. We obviously do paid social too. We want to put the targeted ads that are important to us about things like being Clean Label Project certified, and just healthier snacking in front of the right consumers when they're considering us. Because Jen's involved in the business as a day-to-day operating partner on all my leadership team meetings and in most of our sales calls, and really just in the business, we have the opportunity to authentically tell that story too. And she has the ability to reach billions and billions of consumers through earned media. And then it's really important to us as a purpose-driven company to really build a connection between what we think is important and the organizations that we support. We have a partnership with Save the Children. Save the Children is an organization that Jen's been working with in the United States for over 10 years. They're focused on addressing the needs that kids have in rural poverty, not only nutritionally, but educationally. And we are developing a partnership with them to deliver 1 million meals and really look at it as a foundation bedrock of what we're trying to do as we grow the business. And consumers are looking for that authenticity in companies, not just the story itself, but the actual facts behind it. And that's an important one. And then in social media, we're obviously very active. And the combination of all these things has been delivering billions and billions of earned media impressions. And we continue to invest more in the growth of the brand by doing that. But this is how we're telling the story to our consumers. Then there's the important story of telling the story to the retailers and the partners in the industry that are important to helping us get on the shelf or helping us get on the digital cart. So we're talking about ourselves as the best kid food brand. Adweek recently gave us that great honor and distinction for the things that we're doing in connecting kids with real food. In our categories that we compete, most of our product is on the shelf in the yogurt set. Sometimes we're in produce, but we're delivering 10 times our fair share of growth to the kids yogurt category, 20% of the growth with just 2% share and growing rapidly. Our business is growing roughly 60% and accelerating. We're the number one indexing brand online in the yogurt set. which is really important. And it speaks to the consumer that we're telling these stories to. He and she are very digitally savvy, and they are looking for and engaging with brands online. And a lot of their purchases are starting with a click. We're the third largest non-dairy brand in yogurt in the United States, and we're the fastest growing plant-based kid brand. So this is a simple way to think about the way we tell stories to our retailers that are important for our long-term success. Here's another shorter version of that we would use. And we basically talk about Jen. We talk about the impact of all of our marketing delivering really strong impressions, which are delivering consumers that understand and are looking for the brand, and retailers therefore should carry us. These mom ambassadors in the influencer program we're talking about, and as I referenced earlier, the #1 indexing brand on retailer.com sites. So this is a really quick one-pager that in 20 or 30 seconds can give a retailer an idea of what we're doing in our story. And then in the industry and in investors, it's important to tell your story too. This is how we talk about the size of the market and the opportunity that we're going after. You know, kid food and beverage in the United States is on its way to being a $58 billion market. We compete across 3 big subcategories you can see on the bottom of this page here. We're in the kid yogurt category, that's $1.8 billion. We're in the we're in the baby category, $1.8 billion. Refrigerated kid yogurt, 1.2, and shelf-stable applesauce, $700 million. We don't uniquely or neatly fit into any one of these categories, which is one of the really interesting, disruptive things about this brand. But we compete against all of them. And in the baby space, we're sold over in the perimeter of the store, not in the baby aisle for the most part, although we do have hundreds of coolers in baby aisles in the right stores in big retailers. And I do believe that we're going to do more and more of that in the future. But if you compare us to the brands that are over in shelf-stable baby, we turn way faster, we drive a lot more dollars, and we're really attracting consumers that are not taking the left turn down the baby aisle and keeping them in the box for the retailer. And in the kid yogurt space, I mentioned earlier how much we're contributing to growth in that space, and really incrementally. And so we can tell the story to retailers in the industry that we're really helping grow that category. And then shelf-stable applesauce, we're really bringing consumers from the center store and bringing them over into the perimeter. And while they're there, they're buying a lot of other really important things that retailers care about. So those are some ways that we talk about the brand and how we're positioned in the industry and the growth opportunity for this brand as we continue to build it out and span multiple categories, which is our intent over time. So I really appreciate your time today, and hopefully you gain some inspiration from the simple visuals and simple storytelling that we've been using to build our business with all of the really important audiences. And I wish you have a great conference and lots of great learning, and really appreciate the opportunity to be here today with you. So thank you very much.